Joe is so likable at what he does that I feel like if he never existed, or if he wasn't a main character, let's say that let's just say that, he's actually he's a police captain in Keystone City because they needed somebody reliable and shit, and he gets shipped over there. That makes sense, and then you give that role to Iris, and that makes sense because now I don't have someone that I know could do it better.
Yeah.
So, but because Joe fills in that role of being sort of like a life mentor as well as a badass in his own right so well, it really undermines Iris as a character in the sense that she is practically useless.
I guess, like, the writers just haven't given her any clout. They haven't given her any presence in the story or any, like, real power over anything in the whole thing, right?
Because if you look at the love interest in the other shows, right, like Mon-El is a fucking, Daxamite. He's a fucking superpower in his own right. He just is from the future. Well, sorry, I'm spoilers, but he feels literally alienated, right? Felicity, aka Overwatch, aka not the video game,
Oracle.
Sure, aka basically, she's the world's greatest hacker. That's so fucking useful in Arrow, which is essentially like a superhero crime drama. Super useful, makes so much sense. And then there's Iris. She's
a reporter that only reports sometimes on her blog.
Exactly. It makes no sense. That's why, like, I'm not gonna mention what group it is, but I'm in a Flash TV show group, and they say no character hating, which is why I never posted about Iris. But it's like, I think at some point you need to acknowledge the fact that Iris is not a useful character. I would much rather have Iris elsewhere or sideline, not as part of a main cast, maybe reoccurring, but not in every episode, and bring in someone who is more useful, like, well, first things first, they already have too many characters, but like Wally West.
Yeah.
That's the other thing too. With all of these DC shows, one of the main issues is it's called The Flash, it's called The Arrow, it's called Supergirl. Why do I need to have all of these other characters in there like a team? And don't get me wrong, I love the team-ups and shit. I love the crossovers, but it undermines the crossovers and shit. We already have a team show in The Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Now it's you're not watching the Flash TV show, the Arrow TV show, the Supergirl TV show. You're watching Team Arrow, Team Supergirl, Team Flash. And that really undermines the capabilities of each character, because now you need to make sure that they progress at the same rate and shit so that they don't seem sidelined. But then the issue with that is sometimes you get characters that don't progress, or at least do not progress in a believable fashion, such as Iris West Allen. Because take it in, every single role that Tom Cavanaugh plays is more developed than Iris is in the full series run so far.
Shit.
No, really, think about that.
No, I have to agree.
OG Harrison Wells, aka Eobard Thawne, Scary Harry, fucking Sherlock. Everyone is more developed than Iris West, at least in a non-convoluted fashion.
Yeah, no, I agree. And the thing is, I think that is, man, like,
fucking Gorilla Grodd is more developed.
I know, I want to blame the pacing again, right? But I don't know if that argument even works anymore, because here's the thing, right? I feel like what probably could have happened with Iris West Allen's character, right, is Joe, all right, leaves, right? You barely have any episodes in season 5 where Joe's really there, right? There's literally like a good dry period where he's not even around because he went off to fucking Tibet to go see his son, right? Mm-hmm. You could have had an episode, right, where like Joe literally leaves, right? And then Iris, all right, takes on the role that Joe was, which is an emotional supportive role, all right, for her family. But, right, give her goddamn newspaper already. Like, holy fucking shit, man. You waited till season 5 till this girl got a newspaper? And she is the fucking... She's Iris West Allen. She doesn't have anything else to her character in the comics. She is a reporter. She's supposed to have this paper way in advance.
And let's say...
waited this long. And so let me finish. The character has nothing to do. There is nothing. So you try to give her, like, like more fulfilling roles that make no sense. That's where you get the situation where she has to be the team leader, which again, that's nonsense, right? And then she's like, okay, well, how about I go back to being a reporter, all right, and get the power of the people. Holy shit! That's amazing! Why'd you stop doing that in the first place? It makes no sense. And I can't say that it's because of the pacing, right? That they panned out the episodes for too long, right? Because if you panned out the episodes that fucking long, you have every right to put her in where she belongs, which is her reporting role, right? Or at least like in a role that makes more sense. You have all this time and space to develop her, but you don't. So, the blame goes more on to the writers at that point. All right, I'm done. Go ahead.
The other thing too is like you mentioned something like that's all she does in the comics. She is a reporter and she's like emotional support. That well, let's say like, oh, whoa, she's basically useless in the comics then, so that the writers are just trying to do something with it that's more interesting. Like, here's the thing: if you want to improve upon a character, it needs to make sense, right? The character from the beginning was that she's a reporter. She wanted to go into the police force. Joe kept her away from that. Using that alone, the only way you could make her more useful in a believable fashion is, at least in my opinion, is, especially, since we only have 5 seasons so far, is maybe have her be like a secret source of intel or some shit. Because she's a reporter. This is what she does. Maybe she could be on the streets and trying to get information for Team Flash or Team Star Labs or the CCPD or some shit. You don't just suddenly make her the fucking Red Ranger. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like let's say, like, for example, the Ninja Turtles, right? When we first meet April O'Neil, the only thing you know about April O'Neil, I'm gonna use the 2003 series because it's fresh in my mind because I just rewatched it. The first thing you know about April O'Neil is that she is a hack, is that she is somewhat of a scientist, and that's it. That's it. That's all you know about her. She's somewhat of a scientist. Well, no, fuck it, I'll say it. She is a scientist, and that's it. She's done shit with robotics. Done. That's all. That's it, right?
Yeah.
So
She did science shit.
After the buildup of 5 seasons is when she begins her. Sorry, that's not right. After the buildup of 3 or 4 seasons is when she begins her training with Master Splinter. Meanwhile, and by the way, it's always hinted that she's interested in it because she's always around the Ninja Turtles. She's always bailing them out technologically wise, and like emotional wise, and as like a hideout and shit, offering like physical and moral support if possible, and healing and shit. Maybe that's what Iris West could be on top of being a reporter, right? That's a good way to do it because it took her about 3 or 4 seasons before April got training from Master Splinter. And again, it's all gradual, which is why it's great. In this show, this is what happens. Love interest in season 1, love interest in season 2, love interest in season 3. I'm the leader now. It's like, bruh, like, what the fuck happened?
That was a fucking jump.
Yeah, like, how? So you can't even go backwards to fix it. You can't unless you time travel again. Which do not. I did not time travel. It's not true. Again. I didn't do it. Do not. No, but it's legit though. You can't fucking fix it. So the character is now permanently flawed due to poor writing. There's no progression. It was, let me be a reporter. I have more aspirations as a reporter. I want to do more, and I want my paper to reach the world, or to reach at the very least the city in a grand scale. By the way, I own the fucking Star Labs team now. I'm the fucking boss. Yeah. Makes no fucking sense.
Yeah, pretty much. They could have fixed a lot of it by giving the proper pacing and the proper time behind her character, right? Just give her goddamn newspaper now, like, way before, right? Like, what I expected to happen, right, wasn't that she became the team leader, was that she picked up her own life. She separated herself from Team Flash, right? And went on to, like, bring out her newspaper and, like, follow her passion of being a fucking reporter. Because, right, your husband just fucking died. Why are you like, I have to save the rest of the world now?
Because vengeance. I am vengeance. I am the night.
Wait.
I
was it that
Iris.
Was it because, like, what was it? Barry asked her to, like, keep the city safe or some shit like that?
Yeah, but you don't do so as the leader, bro.
Well, you could do it two ways,
dude,
right? One
dude, it's
is
like this,
the
it's
leader,
like this,
right?
it's like this,
but
it's like
you
this.
don't deserve it.
It's like this. Oh, I'm in a coma right now. You have to start making YouTube videos for me. There's no fucking
Fair.
way. There's no fucking way.
Yeah. Man. Pretty much, I don't know. Her character is, like, fundamentally flawed at this point. There's, like you said, it is permanent at this point. You can't do anything about it. Man.
Now, some people might also say, like, oh, but, like, what about Sarah Lance? You know, she was just the cheating sister. And then you're telling me that she comes back and now she's the fucking black canary? Well, at the time, just the canary. Yes. You know why? Because there's something called a 5-year time skip. So it's believable. You have 5 fucking years to lead up to that. To lead up to that. Not just suddenly, oh, I'm a cheater. I'm the fucking black canary now, motherfucker.
Yeah.
So, and even then, if you showed me 5 seasons of that, I might be able to believe you. But no, for Iris, it's just it's literally 6 months ago, I was a reporter. And now I am brooding. I am dark. I run Team Flash.
Mm-hmm.
Bruh, it took Batman 20 years.
Holy shit.
And he's rich,
wow.
mind you. And you're telling me that you could fucking do this in 6 months? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, wow, does that put shit in perspective of, like, it took the guy 20 years and you picked it up in 6 months?
Do you know what's fucking sad? I could believe that the Power Rangers got together in, like, a few days before I could believe that Iris West Allen becomes the fucking leader of Team Flash in 6 months. Because they're teenagers with attitude that already practice martial arts. Under the influence of a mystical force and giving you the fucking powers, you will become a better superhero than someone who has absolutely no credentials in crime fighting. But now 6 months later, you are the absolute leader of this team. And the fucked up shit is you have literal superheroes in the fucking lab. Cisco Ramon, Kaylin Snow, a fucking cop. An actual law enforcement officer in Joe West. But no. Oh, sorry. Joe West. But no, Iris is the team leader. Makes no sense.
Yeah. I think that they could have pulled, you remember when Young Justice,
Young Justice sounds like a rap name now.
I know.
It's your boy Young Justice.
There was that season jump, right? Where, like, you know, one of the seasons ended, or yeah. And, like,
5.
everything changed, and you wanted to know why, right? You were so curious as to, like, wait, why isn't, like, Superboy and McGann together anymore? Why isn't this? Why isn't that? You know, stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
They could have done something.
How come Zatanna didn't
like that.
age a single day?
Holy shit, is magic really that good? Oh, man. Yeah. Right? They could have done something like that, right? Make it just a complete mystery, right? As to, like, how all these things have changed, right? Like, what happened to the relationship of, like, you know, Cisco and, like, Caitlin Frost or whatever, right? Caitlin Snow, sorry. And I think, like, they laid it on super fucking thick of, here's what the new Team Flash is gonna look like. Barry's gone, so we have Iris as the leader.
Makes no sense.
Makes no fucking sense. Vibe, Frost, and then Kid Flash. And then the minute Barry walks in, like, Kid Flash is done. The minute Barry walks in, I'm not even kidding. Like, it feels like, right? Like, Kid Flash just disappears and he's done.
Thank you for keeping my seat warm. Now,
exactly,
get
right?
out.
And to me, it's just like, No, you could have done so much more with Kid Flash. Like, are you fuck you?
and then he gets heartbroken off screen.
Yeah, yeah, and then he leaves without even saying goodbye to everyone.
I kind of wish he at the very least stayed with the Legends. If you watch Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of the Legends, but I'll be honest, I've realized what Legends is. Like, Legends fills the niche of ridiculous superhero shit.
Yeah, like it knows what it is. Because at first it was super serious about fighting Vandal Savage and shit, right?
Yeah.
And then it became let me make the show more ridiculous, and then even more ridiculous.
And now it's a fucking joke.
Now, honestly, when I watch it, it's first things first, it's easily the most fun out of all the shows, but also sometimes I feel like I'm on some kind of a drug. It feels less like DC's Legend of Tomorrow compared to like PCP's Legends of Tomorrow.
It's mindless fun.
But I love it though.
Yeah, no, that's why I love it too, right? Because it serves that role of just like, you're here to watch dumb superhero shit, all right?
By the way,
the end.
That's a good example of having so many characters in one show, yet they're all like they're all well developed and have their own storylines and shit. Mind you, that's all streamlined in I think 13 or 14 episodes. So if the writing quality character-wise from that show can transfer a little bit more to The Flash, that would be great.
That would be amazing. Yeah. Okay. Another thing that I thought, all right, because you and I, we've talked a lot about like Iris West Island over what was it, XS, which I kind of want to get back to because I still think like she is such an unnecessary and like ridiculous character. Because here's the thing, right? I still don't fucking understand what was the point of her character in this season.
Oh, if you really think about it,
I just don't get it.
She was a 24 episode character plot for what's his face? Eobard Thawne.
But we're done with Eobard. Eobard is dead.
No, he's still there.
He has died. Literally. No. If we're in the Flash universe, he has died.
But you saw him fighting Nazis.
3 times.
Or fighting with Nazis.
Exactly. He has died in the Legends. He has died in the Flash. All right, twice, I think. Oh, man. Whatever. If that is the case, why not just bring back Eobard?
That's what I'm fucking saying. In season 5, it's like, okay. Do you know what's okay? This is honestly, this is what they should have done. What is it? 20. I don't know if it's the right number. Let's just assume it's 24 episodes, right? Give me first 10 episodes of the whole fucking cicada bullshit, right?
Sure.
And then still have excess around. She doesn't know why she's there, but she is there, right?
Okay.
Excuse me. She's there because she wants to chill with dad and shit. But then Sherlock fucking exposes her and be like, "You've been working with a motherfucking speedster from the fucking future." Sorry, I don't know why I did that.
That was pretty good, actually. But yeah, go on.
For my standards, that's garbage. Anyways, but it's fucking trash.
Fuck you too.
It is but yeah, he's like, you're working with a man in a yellow suit in the future, and it's not a fucking jumpsuit in prison. He is the fucking Reverse Flash and shit. And then Barry gets pissed. It's like, motherfucker, you've been lying to me, eh? And I don't know why he's fucking African now, but yeah. And then he fucking tosses what's his face? Excess in the future. What's her name again?
I don't.
Nora, right.
Yeah, Nora, right.
You know what's funny? The only reason why I know that is because I remember fucking Reverse Flash in the 100th episode saying like, "Oh, you have the same name as your mom." That's the only reason why I remember that.
I also think that's kind of hilarious. Hey, dead mom.
Anyways, so yeah, because Iris is like, bruh, like this is our daughter, bro. It's like, did you not see that this bitch just fucking betrayed you? Everybody betrayed me. I fed up with this world, bruh. Get rid of her. Why? Or imprison her. One or the other. I would say
Yeah.
probably imprison her for the time being because you're so conflicted, and then figure something else. But I was like, but this is our daughter. I used to be
Shut.
your leader a few years ago. Remember that, Barry? Okay, I'll stop talking about that. Right? So that makes sense. Because you know what's funny? If you just kept Nora in the fucking prison, fucking Eobard's plan would not have worked.
Dude, everything would have ended. Like, the season would have just stopped right there.
And you get to keep your daughter.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, she's a fucking prisoner now.
And she betray you, Barry. You're tearing me apart, Nora. But it's like, that's all you needed to do. Just keep her in there a little bit longer and see things the way they
And
are.
holy shit, what
You
things
have the
turned out
world's
A-okay.
greatest detective in universe right now in Sherlock Wells. Use him to your advantage.
Nah, don't do that. That's dumb.
Yeah.
Fuck me, dude.
But let's say
It's-
but let's say Barry is indeed very emotional because this is the man that killed his mom, and I guess in turn also led to the death of his father.
Yeah.
And fucked with his whole life, and now he's married to his sister, if you really think about it.
That's so fucked up.
And shit like that, right? So like, considering all the fucked up shit that he's led to, maybe it makes sense for him to fucking throw Nora away and never look back and shit, right? Maybe Nora does have the brain of a 15-year-old and develops immense anger for her dad, and now she has the negative speed force and shit, right? That all still makes sense. But here's the thing. Don't fucking give me that shit like, have that at the end. Have that at like around the 14th episode or so, where she does what she does, and then she chooses to die because she wants to live an honorable life and have a good legacy, and then Eobard escapes. Cool. Hey Barry, if you hate this man so much, why the fuck are you letting him get away? Oh, my daughter is dying. Yeah, but you already learned that's not supposed to happen. You're supposed to have 2 kids with the same name.
No, that's dumb though.
So it's
God.
like, if you hate this man so much, and he's the only motherfucker on this earth with the knowledge of the negative speed force, shouldn't you do something called apprehend him?
Yeah.
And if you're already at such a dark, twisted mind where you choose to abandon your daughter, but now you decide that you love her, let's assume that you're in a really fucked up state, right? Wouldn't it make sense if Eobard's plan was to have Barry get twisted to the point where he starts using the negative speed force?
Yes.
and then the story then should be either Nora needs to find a way to outrun both the speed demons, as well as saving her dad and turn it into an excess story so that she could redeem herself, or she dies and a different speedster or just anyone fucking saves the day and restores Barry. Do you know who could, real shit, do you know what could happen? Maybe Excess could do some fucking bullshit where, in the same fashion where fucking Iris West got the speed force powers for like 1 day, maybe Iris could actually be useful for once, and she's the one that sacrifices herself to be locked up in the speed force for the time being, so that Nora could save Barry,
so that Nora can do anything.
So that Nora is useful and Iris is useful, and we get to see less of her because really her exposure in the show makes no sense so far.
Yeah.
So then let's say by like episode 23, Barry is back. The difficult choice that he needs to make is, do I want to live with the future and having limited time with Nora, or do I want to bring my wife back? At first, he chooses Nora because this is what Nora wants, and he spent a whole lifetime with Iris already. But then he realizes, if I choose to stay with Nora, then I'm never going to see Iris again, and Iris is never going to give birth to Nora, which is what ultimately leads, let's say, Nora to knock out everyone, shove Barry into the little box, into the prison, and then she forces herself into the speed force so that she could get captured by speed demons, and then releases her mom again, and then they have a touching moment where they completely reconcile.
Yeah.
What's
sounds
sad?
like an amazing storyline.
I thought of all of that on the spot.
Wow. I was gonna say, I think it would have been a bit cheesy if, fucking, what's her name? Iris goes into the Speed Force and gets locked up instead of Barry, because I'm just like, well, now you're just swapping spots. Like, fucking decide. Because the thing is, God, I feel like that whole Speed Force prison thing, right, is an interesting plot point, right? Because something needs to be in there.
The thing that I was saying was the reason why Iris can survive in that is because she didn't commit any crimes by time traveling. She was thrown in there, which is the only reason why that could work. Again, this is my version of the Speed Force, though.
Yeah.
And Nora knows that, like, she may or may not. She might not even is meant to exist, which is why she's willing to die.
Yeah.
Well, at least in my version, that would be her story arc. Is she realizes, I'm not even supposed to be here, bro. I already fucked up enough for y'all. Like, I just released
I'm not
my
even
dad's,
supposed to
like,
be here.
I just released my dad's arch nemesis. So how about, let me have this moment. Let me follow my dad's footstep as a hero.
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah. So that wraps up that storyline, and then the reconciliation with Iris, that wraps up that storyline too, and she could die in peace.
Yeah. So wait, you want Iris dead?
No, I'm talking about Nora.
Oh, sorry.
Nora dies regardless in my version, but she dies with more of a purpose.
Yeah. Well, she dies with more weight and, like, actually
she's
affecting,
fatter.
like, something in the story. Jesus Christ. To her character. And I think, like, that would have worked out really, really well. Like, that storyline would have made sense, right? But I think I'm just divided about Season 5 in general, just because there's so much going on, dude. Like, holy fucking shit. Like, I'm confused.
The Cure?
My head's spinning. What I mean by that, right, is... Okay, so you have the Cicada storyline going, right? Okay,
yes.
All right, evil, like, serial murderer, all right? Yeah. Then you have moral battles about a cure that Cisco made, right?
Which, by the way, that sounds suspiciously similar to X-Men 3, The Last Stand.
Yep, kind of does. All right, part 3 of the different, like, fucking things that are going on in there is Killer Frost's origins, right? We learn about Caitlin's dad, Icicle, which is, by the way, the worst storyline I've ever seen. Who gives a shit? That is
yeah, it kind
of
didn't go anywhere. I like the detective elements and stuff, but what did it really lead to? One badass scene, done.
That's it. Also, another bad guy of, like, the week for the Team Flash to beat down.
Yeah, like, it doesn't... There's no weight to it.
If you brought it back and had, like, Cicada kill Icicle, sick. That'd be kind of interesting. Anyways, and then after that was a battle between King Shark and Grodd? And I'll be honest, that was
kind of cool, but...
It was a little sick, because I enjoy the idea of a street shark fighting King Kong, but it was still lame, because I'll be honest, the CGI is not quite there. Anyways.
No, I don't know about that. The CGI for King Shark was pretty decent, especially for a television budget.
Not so much.
Anything, if you want to CG first, it's always difficult. Have you seen Chinese fucking... There was a modern version of Monkey King. Have you seen it? It stars
Yes, I have. It's awful.
Lord, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways.
CG, that should be called The Journey to the West.
Yeah. After that, right, is wrapping up the Cicada storyline by, for some reason, bringing out the fucking future evils. Yeah, another one, right? Okay, that's fucked up and dumb, okay? Second thing, right, after that is now Excess has betrayed you. Oh, why didn't we just focus on that? That was the main plot point that you introduced from, like, the very beginning of the season, or, like, at least earlier on in the season. If you just focus on that, it wouldn't have been so scattered. Because the thing is, I don't know what to think about Season 5. I think it's a dumpster fire, but I also think it has some, like, interesting moments here and there, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Talking more about, like, what is it? The negative Speed Force was interesting to me, right? But did you have to put that in there and also only plot it in really quick? I don't think so. Ah, man. If you built the entire thing around excess slowly poisoning her dad with negative speed force, right? That would have been interesting, right? Barry's powers go awry, but we know why, right? We as the viewer, not them, is what I mean, right?
Well, first things first, they're all fucking stupid in this show. Like, how do you not know that was fucking Grace? First things first, how the fuck did you not notice that was a different cicada? Like,
that was a woman.
Yeah, like, sure, like, men could potentially have that figure and everything, but if you
they
look
gave
at that,
her a form-fitting coat.
yes, it was pinched. It was properly pinched. I've known some really slim dudes, and when they get their fucking custom coats tailored, it's still not pinched in that fashion.
Yep. It's so obvious.
The dumbest thing was Excess should have known this, because when she was in Grace's mind, she saw Grace as cicada. What the fuck?
Yep.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Like I said, like, there's just so much going on that I don't know what the fuck I'm looking at or what I'm even supposed to focus on, right?
Also,
if you kept it negative speed force and all, right? Fancy, great, I love it. Just stick with that. But yeah. What?
Also, I'll just say this: is it me, or does it seem like Barry is becoming less and less interesting in these shows?
Yeah, he is.
Like,
Ever since they resolved everything with his mom.
Like I'm more what's the word I'm looking for? I'm more invested in Cisco and his partner. I forgot her name. Unfortunately, was it Lydia?
I only know
the Asian girl.
Her...
I forgot her name. The photographer, though.
Oh, the photographer. I thought you were talking about what was it? His other girlfriend,
no.
the time cop.
No, not Danny Trejo's daughter.
Yeah. Gypsy, by the way.
Gypsy, yeah, not Gypsy. What the fuck? Camilla, right?
Yeah.
Camilla,
Yeah.
I was more invested in Cisco and Camilla. Kaylee didn't really get to do much, but even Ralph as a character, way more interesting than Barry has been. Cecile and Joe, way more interesting than Barry has been. And this is what I mean.
True.
This is the issue. When you have fucking Sherlock and Ralph, way more interesting than Barry and Iris, Barry and XS, Barry and whomever.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I'm saying. Like, that's the issue. Like, it's called The Flash, but you also need to develop these other characters. But in doing so, you either have a fucked up character development like Iris, or you take too much away from your star in The Flash.
I mean, there's two solutions to that. One of them is to ramp everybody else up to the level of the Flash, right?
Yeah.
Which takes away power from him, but still prizes more onto the characters themselves, right? Or
okay,
you prove just how capable the main character is without any of these people, right?
Mm-hmm. Also, another flaw is the whole entire Cure thing, right?
The what?
The whole entire thing about the Cure and getting Grace to agree to take it.
Oh, fuck that.
It's like, hey, like, I understand that, she deserves a choice, but hey, if you went up to a man with a fucking AK-47, he said, you have the right to be in cuffs where we lock you up and you don't get to do shit, and all you need to do is not shoot, or you can continue to shoot and we will have to shoot you too. Like, they're gonna fucking, like, be a murderer regardless. It doesn't fucking make sense. It's like, hey, Grace, like, I know that you hate us and everything, but how about we completely take away your advantage so that you can't hate us anymore? Would you agree to be in a disadvantage? Like, if you already know that she's fucking crazy, why you can't reason with that? Why don't you, like, that's like if you went to a fucking skunk pit and told them, could you not stink? Bitch, what? That's like you. That's like you entering a fucking lion's den and be like, "Hey man, how about y'all don't eat me and let me slowly defang you guys, and take away your claws, bitch." Like, you're in a situation where like you fucking need to do the like, bruh. This is a serial killer. You've seen this woman like kill multiple motherfuckers, right? You've witnessed it. She's been trying to kill y'all for the past like season, like for the whole entirety of the season. Why do you give them a choice? Like giving her the cure, it's not like you completely kill her. You give her the choice to leave and to live and shit. You're just, not dying and also preventing other people from being killed. Because what it is you're literally taking the knife away from the assailant. That's it.
Yeah. Here's how I see it. The idea of creating a cure is kind of interesting. Because at this point, right, people are given the option of, like, you can be, your character with the superpowers and still get beat down by the Flash if you decide to be a bad guy. Or you could just take the cure and go on with your merry days, right, as a regular person, right? Or, third option, just keep your powers but shut the fuck up about them. In the case of, what's his name again? Cicada,
Cisco?
right?
Oh, okay.
No, Cicada, alright?
Which one?
Like, with... I'm just gonna talk about the dad, right?
So Orlin.
In the case, yeah, the first one, right? It makes no sense to me why you, I'm just thinking from Cicada's perspective, right? Cicada, I know you've killed, I don't know, probably 100 people or so far, but I have a cure for you and your, daughter or whatever the fuck, right? You can take it and then go along your merry ways in jail. Because I'm still gonna fucking arrest you. Because that's the right thing to do, right? And your daughter, right, like, she gets to go free and whatnot, right? There is no way, alright, in taking this cure, alright, that things just aren't going to at least get a little bit better. Because here's the thing, if you think about his current situation with his powers, right, they're not a good thing for him. They're slowly killing him, right?
Yeah.
You see the thing slowly digging more and more into his flesh. He is unable to breathe properly. He can't talk like a regular person, right? He has to... I'm going to assume how this thing works is that it needs to feed off of, like, other people's powers or something like that, right?
Okay.
Because, Jesus Christ. I see no reason why the powers would be linked to a knife either, and whatever.
That's the other thing, man. The super powered everyday items like the cell phone or the tablet.
Oh, God. We'll get to that. We'll get to that, right? There is no way, right, that, like, not taking this cure, right, is going to be, like, a better thing for you. So, let's say he takes the cure, right, which he did, and he's A-okay, right, and then he also says, all right, like, hey, Grace could also take the cure, right? Not only does that save millions of other people's lives later down the line, but if they were quick enough, it would have saved his own as well.
Yeah.
So what's better, right? Being a psychopathic serial killer who's going to die no matter what, right? Or giving yourself the chance, as well as your surrogate daughter the chance at a better life,
And
right?
the dumb thing is, like, they're all like, oh, but, like, it's a question of ethics. Well, what's more ethical? Taking someone's powers away, or letting this motherfucker run loose with their powers to the point where they kill so many motherfuckers and then take their powers away?
Exactly. Like,
You need to choose the lesser of the two evils at this point. It's a lose-lose situation, but it's a matter of how much you lose.
it's an interesting discussion that they bring up of the ideas of ethics and morality, right? But I can't think of a single person who would look at this and be like, you could let the mass murderer go on along his merry way, all right?
Fuck it.
Or you could just take away the knife and the powers, all right, and then just let him go along his merry days, right, after that. I see no reason why the cure, right, was even offered as an option against him, right? Outside of ethics, of, like, them be like, this thing will always be a choice, right? Yeah, for reals.
Why don't you just fucking, like, shoot 3 into his heart? Just boom, boom, boom. Just get it over with. Shit.
Exactly. And it would fix
because
so
I know
much.
why.
Why?
Because the season would be over.
the big bad would be done. There would be no reason to continue.
Not that it
like,
matters
watching.
because they revealed that secretly this was all fucking like Eobard's plan anyways. Which I'm like, if that's the plan, why didn't you just have Eobard be the fucking villain? But no, we need to have a twist. What was up with him, by the way? Like, obviously we know that Tom Cavanaugh is an amazing actor and everything just from the show alone. But why is it that, you know, when the reveal happened, he started whispering?
I don't know.
Is that even a whisper? What would you call that? Is it, you know, Barry, I planned this shit forever. It sounds like he's trying to be the Joker from The Dark Knight.
To me, it just sounds like he's about to stick his dick in something. It's just like...
Okay, that got really, really fucking weird. Now you know why he's called the Reverse Flash. Because he likes to... Wait, what?
I was just gonna keep quiet and just let you...
Yeah, I was like, wait a second, that didn't make sense.
I just flip-flop on this one. But yeah, I don't understand why a cure was even given as an option. I don't understand I don't know... God, there's so many questions I just have. And they name drop two interesting characters, right? Which was Red Death...
What was that again?
And then Godspeed literally appeared in the show.
Oh my god, Godspeed was so fucking... Oh. He looked badass though, I'm not gonna lie.
He looked badass, but I don't know why he's here.
And to me, that's not Godspeed. That's just a dude in the suit.
Yeah, me too. And then, like, oh my god, it would have been hilarious if then he said, like, I am the god of speed. As opposed to Savitar. Oh, it's so dumb. But then they dropped Red Death, which the thing is, Red Death in this world doesn't make any sense.
What is that again? I should refresh my memory.
Yeah. Forgot. So in the comics, there was a whole other alternate universe known as the Negative Earth, like at Negative Earth 2-3, so whatever the fuck, right? Where Bruce Wayne went insane, all right, and combined himself with the Flash.
Okay.
Yeah. And he became a mass murderer at that point, all right, where his lightning was red, and whenever he ran, all right, like, not lightning, but streaks of bats would fly off. And they also had the ability to sap, like, life's, like, energy from other people, right? That is Red Death. That makes no fucking sense in the world of the Flash TV show. Unless you try and, like, bring it in with the negative Speed Force. But that still makes no fucking sense.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So,
how about we take it like this? Because we're approaching 2 hours soon. How about we take it like this? I'm gonna make a really brief comparison to Arrow. Right, season 1 was good. It was a bit shaky at the beginning, but afterwards it was actually pretty good. Season 2 was fantastic. Season 3 fell apart. This is when season 1 of Flash came out. Season 3 fell apart. Season 4 was just kind of mediocre and kind of forgettable. But then season 5 came, and that shit kicked ass hard.
yeah.
So Arrow clearly showed that it could be redeemed. How do you think that this show could get better?
Ooh, that's... Oh boy, that's gonna be tough. To redeem all of this, right? I think, like, a few things need to happen, right? You need to cut down on the cast of characters because there's way too much.
Christ, the ambulance is there to fucking help fix the
Yeah,
Flash.
I know. Sorry about that.
That is a fucking rude ass ambulance, bro. Like, I always complain about, like, kids outside of my house or my Viet neighbors, but bro, I hear that shit through Discord loud and clear.
The shit also has a microphone.
Damn, I can mistaken that shit for being a motherfucking ice cream truck or some shit.
Yeah, I know. All right, please go away, Jesus Christ.
Who died? Oh,
Not a clue. All right, I think we're good now.
this is motherfuckers in Japan fucking on my podcast and shit. Shit.
So what I think needs to happen is, right, you need to cut down on the characters. Stop.
On what? Sorry, you got cut off a little bit.
Sorry. If you want to start fixing the Flash, I think you need to start cutting down on some of the characters, right?
Yes.
Because you need to start focusing back to what made it good, which is you had a strong select group of characters, right, that would pop in and out and had interesting relationships and, like, storylines to discuss, right?
Mm-hmm.
Give Iris her fucking newspaper, because fucking shit, man. Reduce the amount of airtime that she has, because, let's be real, unless there's an emotional, crisis going on, or she learns how to fight super good.
No, please, no. No.
There you go. Yeah.
It makes no fucking sense.
It doesn't, no. Bring back the stories, alright, that were grounded in science and not fanciful, magical, time travel-y bullshit. Keep things simple. You do not need a convoluted time travel storyline to be interesting. You really don't. Oh, man. Do the superhero thing of introducing, other homages from the comics and stuff like that. What else? Yeah, okay, we already established this point earlier on, right? But either make everyone else as powerful or as interesting as Barry, which, how the fuck could you do that? Or, alright, show Barry, alright, being, I don't know, more powerful than he, really leads on to be, right?
Stronger than before. I don't know if anyone's gonna get that reference.
Yeah.
Did you get it?
Man, not really.
Oh, it's the Power Rangers Zeo.
Oh, right. Let's see, what else? And yeah, I think that's kind of it. I think you need to start bringing it back down to the roots that made it good, right? A tightly knit group that was interesting, all right? Grounded in plausible and feasible science, all right, mechanics. Interesting feats using speed, right? So that we could see just how powerful the Speed Force is. And that's
give him the
it.
chin strap back.
Give him the old suit back. I liked the old suit because this one looks like shit.
I like the current suit.
Really?
I genuinely think it's just the headpiece.
I genuinely think that this one just looks like cheap leather, flappy stuff.
Because the old suit to me is very much a costume. This one looks a little bit more superhero to me.
All right, I mean,
although
maybe.
Stylistically, it doesn't really match with. Well, Cisco's suit is not going to be used anymore because he's a fucking normal human being. But stylistically, it didn't really work too well with Iris's suit, which is X's suit. But
yep, which I think is hilarious.
It looks more high tech and shit to me because the previous iterations to me always look like, let me put on a leather jacket and put a lightning bolt on it. This one is definitely more superhero looking to me.
Yeah, I guess.
Also, get Grant Gustin to shave consistently because sometimes his stash is all out of fucking continuity. I don't know if anyone else noticed that, but that was something I noticed when I was watching the show. I was like, why does he have a bit of a mustache and then he's clean shaven and then another mustache and then he's clean shaven again?
Yeah, fair. So yeah, I think that's it. It's just get back to what made you good.
For me,
you are too convoluted. Yeah, go ahead.
For me, I would say you've made too many ballsy decisions for you to just magically disappear. So you need to stick with some of those. So first things first, Iris is a completely lost cause. Drop her from the show for at least 10 episodes straight. So that when she comes back, she will do this thing called feeling like she's actually important. For Cisco, he lost his powers. And he created this cure. have one of two things happen to him. Because it's not that I doubt that Cisco is not interesting if he's not Vibe, because clearly he's interesting when he creates all these gadgets and stuff. But have that have consequences, as in have him lacking powers or having the cure have consequences. You could either have consequences of him not being able to protect him and Camilla, because Camilla now knows that he was Vibe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So either have that have consequences, or have him making the cure have consequences. Like the cure fucks up your genome or some shit. So now he, Caitlin, and I guess Barry, because Barry's also a forensic scientist. They need to figure out a cure for the cure. I know this sounds stupid on paper, but that's how you have both ways. That's how you have Vibe retire as Vibe, but also still have the powers in the event that he needs them. So that's that's the only piece of backtrack you can do. But like I said, the reason why this works is because it gives weight to the character's decisions. And also it prevents the fucking obvious question of, well, considering that, Barry got tranked, couldn't someone just trank him and then give him the cure and then he's no longer the Flash? That's a fucking huge problem. So you need to address that by, addressing the cure's flaws. Speaking of which, now granted this isn't traditional in the comic books of at all. Maybe someone could do that to Barry, and then the side effect for the Speed Force, because the Speed Force is a little bit different from just every other meta, right? Maybe from that it gives birth to a whole new type of Speed Force. Now we know we have the negative, we have the standard, but how about this be like the embodiment of the Speed Force, angry because of the the cure, the biochemist fucking chemical bullshit. Yeah. And then maybe you could have that be Godspeed, a non-physical, a semi-physical being. Again, that's just an idea I thought of on the spot. It might not make sense, and it might not translate well on TV. In fact, don't do it, because considering how badly you fucked up Godspeed already, and how badly you fucked up Iris West, don't even bother. But to me, you need to stick with your guns with those two things. Get Iris off the show for at least 10 episodes straight. Don't even mention her name, so that when she does come back and do something, there's weight to it. There's gravity to it. For Cisco, you need to stick with your guns of either him losing his powers or something's wrong with the cure, because things are too perfect sometimes in this universe.
Yeah.
And then with the removal of Iris, and to an extent Joe, at the very least, have Cecile to anchor the fact that they still exist. Because Cecile and her powers, as well as her link and chemistry with Ralph, is really important, and it works really well in the show. So stick back to the power of relationships, and I don't mean in terms of intimate relationships between lovers. I'm talking about the relationships between these co-workers that also work as a combative force against evildoers. I don't know why I said it like that, but stick with the relationships involved here and decide what the show wants to be. Arrow wanted to take a more superhero feel in season 4, and that backfired, and then they went back to a crime drama in season 5, and that worked. Figure out the identity for the Flash TV show. Don't give us the Flash and stuff. And when I say the Flash, I'm not talking about the superhero. Don't give us the fluff. That's nice and pretty to look at for the moment, but it's actually a bigger detriment to the show in terms of its writing quality and what was it called? I read an article about this. In terms of its quality as well as its narrative complexity. For anyone who is remotely listening to this and wondering what I'm talking about in regards to narrative complexity in television, I highly recommend, and you can find this online for free, reading an article called just type in narrative complexity by John Mittel, and you'll know what I'm talking about. But that's my 2 cents in terms of making the show better. Finding the identity and sticking with your guns in those 2 directions, because you fucked the fuck out of Iris West. Yeah. So you need to there's no way for you to reboot that, so you just need to ignore her and then bring her back when it makes sense and give gravity to that. For Vibe, or I guess Cisco, keep it as the weaponeer and inventor, because that makes sense. He's basically the Donatello, and either give him his powers back by having something go wrong with the cure, or make sure he stays without his powers and something goes wrong. But regardless, you
Yeah.
need to address the cure and how that could be used as a weapon against superhero metas.
Yeah.
And then just find the identity of the show and stick with strong relationships between characters.
Yeah, and I can see like certain ways that they could bring about like issues with the cure, right? Sure, they could show it off like through Cisco himself, but they could start off with King Shark.
Yeah, like you could unfuck the show like that, but I don't think you can unfuck Iris.
No, I think you've made a very strong point of just how screwed up and messed up.
Do
the
not
character
fuck
is.
Iris. That sounds weird. Yeah, just don't fuck with Iris and just God.
Yeah, and when I was saying like get back to the roots of what made you strong, that's kind of what I mean of just like the
Not
show
fucking
needs to
Iris?
figure out the show needs to figure out its identity, all right, and how it fits in the superhero spectrum, right? Because you got super crime drama, you got wacky fucking like Saturday cartoon shit with Legends.
Yeah.
I don't really know what Supergirl is about.
I haven't watched season 3 yet. I've seen season 1 and 2, and
I
it's meant
haven't
to
watched
be like
any
an
of it.
allegory. It's like an allegory between for like racial relations between immigrants and shit like that.
Okay, so talking about being an alien.
Yeah, being alienated and like relationships and shit.
Sure, okay. If, alright, they go back to the identity of a superhero show grounded still in the basis of plausible science, I think that would be amazing. It is like the sciencey, techie focused one, right?
Actually,
I think that
yeah.
would be great. Right?
Yeah.
Because if you don't do that, I don't know what the fuck the Flash is going to be about, right? Yes, Barry's a forensic scientist. There should be science involved in all of this. All of these characters are fucking scientists,
There's
except for Joe
3
and Iris.
fucking scientists. Yeah.
Think about
3
that for a
scientists, a
second.
reporter, a DA, and then a fucking police captain now.
Go on.
Like just fucking just stick to that. Stick to
Exactly.
that.
And this is what I mean by like try your best to stick to your characters, right? It is fine that you brought in Ralph Dibny. I think he's probably one of the best parts of the show, in my honest opinion, right? Because I like that he's like the humor next to Cisco's, right?
And he just works with all the characters.
Exactly, right? God. He's going to be a cop. Sweet. He's going to be an investigator, actually.
I'm a
private
cop, you
dick.
idiot. Sorry.
Yeah. No worries. I called him a private dick. Anyways.
Are dicks not private?
Anyways. Keep him in the show. That's fine, right? You can bring in another... I don't know if actually about that one, because I don't want another fucking speedster bad guy. I'm so tired. I'm so tired of them. What I want, alright, is a super, like, just powerful organization against the Flash, right? Yeah. I don't give a fuck anymore, man. Like, you had your chance at a really great and, like, planning strategist with the Thinker, and you fucked that shit all over the place.
Yeah, it's just like, I'm gonna take my sweet ass time with this. There is no way in hell. And they try to play it off like, yeah, the reason why he failed is because he was too arrogant. No, the reason why he failed is because you wanted to have the show run for 24 episodes.
Yeah, and then you had a giant Matrix battle of all these cloned Mr. Smiths coming after his ass.
By the way, real shit, if you need to, cut the show shorter.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's less filler. There's less bullshit.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Here's the thing, right? It's not that you can't put in interesting filler episodes, right? You just can't set them within this time frame. They have to be something like in the past or something in the middle that makes sense. Something like that, right? Because, God. It is not to say that fillers do not have a purpose, right? They're supposed to, in my opinion, help build on the characters, make them more interesting, show the relationships between them, right? Add to their character, right? That's how you make an interesting filler. But no, fuck that. Let's just have the bad guy fuck up and fail like he slipped on a banana peel. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think we've been going for quite a while.
It's 2 hours now.
Yeah. Is there any last things that you would like to say about the show or anything?
I still think that The Flash is a good superhero show. I think that it has an identity crisis, and the writers clearly need to take a break.
Dare I say, identity crisis on Infinite Earths. Identity crisis was a weird comic book story, really, if you think about it.
Crisis on Multiple Earths?
No. Identity crisis.
Oh, yeah, it is, though, isn't it?
No, identity. No, I'm talking. Do you know what I'm talking about or not? DC's Identity Crisis in like 2003, 2004, or whatever.
Nope.
Okay.
Not sure.
No, thank God I didn't spoil it for you. But that's a bit of a weird story. Anyways, yeah, you were saying, or was that it?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Just reduce the writing. It does not need to be that crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I'm still gonna stick to my guns. Just try to find the show's identity, focus on the characters, clean up some stuff from last season to make sure that there's levity to it, and just you fucked up Iris West too hard, so just let that die. For the time being. I stand really strongly about that. It's a pain because you had a lot of possibilities with Iris West. Making her the leader in 6 months was not one of them, but you fucking made it happen anyways. Anyways,
and it made less sense. Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, so I think that would be it for this extremely long episode of the Ghetto Fabulous Podcast. So with that said, my name is Kirby Kwan Jr. You can follow me on YouTube, SoundCloud, Twitter, and Facebook under Kirby Kwan Jr. That's KIRBYKWANJR. We do this every single... No, I'm just playing. We don't have a fucking schedule for this. It seems like every week for the time being, but we really don't know yet for the time being. Anyways, that will be it for Shane and I. Shane in Japan, Kirby Kwan Jr. in Toronto from the 6th, so y'all already know what it is. But for now, we are out. Deuces.
See you.